I got really bad with the not eating that I lost a lot of weight. Yeah, I don't know. One day I was like, I just can't do it anymore. Thank God for that one day. And ever since then, like no contact, nothing, like everything changed. And then I started 75 hard because everything changed, but I still wasn't doing things for myself. It was just, at least I'm by myself and not with someone who's draining me. But then it got to a point where I was like, I'm draining me because I'm not doing anything. So I think that's what really got me to stick with 75 hard. And then also posting videos on social media and having people recognize that I'm happier and all of that just amplified everything that I wanted to do. So I was like, I'm just gonna like do it all now and say fuck it, and if it happens, it happens, and works out, then it works out, and if it doesn't, at least I tried,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Those decisions are really hard. I experienced something kind of similar where I had to, I wasn't as good as you at like cutting things off. So
It took me 1.5 years though, granted.
From the time that you said, okay, this is bad for me, it took you 1.5 years to completely. Oh, well, yeah. Okay. We have similar problems then. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, and it's hard. I mean, when
It
you're
is
that
extremely hard.
Yeah, when you're that attached to a person to the
Yeah.
point where like you don't know yourself anymore.
Yeah, it's really sad because you end up doing things that are not good
Out
for
of character
you.
too.
Yeah. I realized that I just needed to put myself first. I'm a hopeless romantic.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I really like to be in love. Like I love being in love. And I got married very young. I got married when I was 21.
Oh wow. Oh
Yes.
wow.
And,
Yeah, it puts things in perspective.
Yeah. So very much like about your age.
Yeah.
I was in a amazing relationship and I got married, and that went very well for many, many, many years. So I hadn't been with that many people or anything like that, like I got married very young and then 10 years later is when things went bad. So then I wasn't used to dating or anything like that. And I didn't want that for my life.
Yeah.
I wanted to.
I'm the same way. I don't like not that I don't like dating, but I'm a hopeless romantic too. I like having my person and building with that person.
Yeah.
I don't like venturing out and
Interesting. So tell me about that, because usually now, like every podcast that people talk about dating and all that,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of episodes where I bring friends and we talk about this.
Yeah.
So tell me your take on that, dating. What has been your experience? Like anything that you want to talk about or that you don't want to talk about?
No. I'll talk. I'll talk because I never get into this side of myself on social media. So it'd be a good start. But dating has always been so rocky for me. I'm a hopeless romantic, and I just have a big heart. And I don't know, in Dallas in high school, I honestly looked for a lot of male validation. But it wasn't in the way of like, I want a guy to validate me. It was in a way of like, I want someone to grow with and to do these things with. And honestly, I was really dependent on a lot of people up until probably 6 or 8 months ago, whenever I was like living on my own for the first time and whatever. But
Which, I mean, you're only 20, so
I've been living on my own in general for 2 years now, 2.5 years.
yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big thing, and it's taught me a lot, especially I don't know if I'm sure I can say this, living in LA. It's hard, but I feel like LA has built strong bones for me, especially in terms of relationships, because I've always been a hopeless romantic. I've always just had a big heart and gave, and I didn't know a boundary of you can't just give someone something. It's supposed to be equal, give or take. And some days one person might be giving 85% and you're giving 15%, or 15%. Can't do math, or the other way around the next day. But at some point, there's got to be balance. And I've just always been the one on the other side that's
Giving too much.
Yeah, like getting the low end of the stick. And then living in LA on top of that too, hookup culture is huge, and most of the guys, especially my age and especially doing social media, are not looking for, because they can get any girl they want. Why settle with one person when you can get all of the benefits and you can play games and et cetera, et cetera.
Well, for a guy, when you think about it, if you're a guy in your 20s
yeah,
and you're famous on social media,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't recommend him to settle
yeah,
either.
yeah,
So,
yeah. No, and that's why it's built strong bones, because now I'm finally in a stage, now that I've gotten out of my last situation, I'm in a stage where I know that, and so I'm like, honestly, why should I do the same? I mean, I'm so used to being a hopeless romantic that I'm like, this is my time to focus on myself, and I will find the most awesome person ever
yes.
once I've built up myself. But there's still things that, I mean, one, I also kind of just got out of that relationship like 6 months ago. But two, this is my time to work on myself, because there's a lot of things that I want to give in a relationship that I can't give right now. And like boundaries, I need to make sure I know how to set those before I just jump into something or let someone, I'm really big with energy, let someone get in my energy, even just with friends, not just relationships. I don't know, I feel like I can always, like, you can always tell, like, someone's energy, how they're feeling. You can tell when someone's energy shifts, or also like bad thoughts or how you're thinking, that affects your energy. Same thing with other people. If you're around people who think negatively, it's going to affect your energy, and then it's going to throw you off, even if you don't know what they're thinking, or just intent matters. So keeping that in mind, and dating in LA right now is no-go.
It's very tricky. Well, one thing that I hope that you take away, don't be afraid to give, though.
Yeah.
Like, don't lose that. Because just because you were given to someone that didn't deserve it doesn't mean that you shouldn't give.
That's true. And I needed to hear that. Thank you. Yeah.
When you give, you're also receiving.
True.
In that case, you weren't receiving the right thing. But that doesn't mean that you should stop giving.
You're right. Yeah.
And that is hard as fuck. Like, it sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Like, you can say it in a very nice way. Fuck that in real life. Like, I feel you, because I felt the same way. Like, I gave someone everything.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't match that.
Yeah.
And then I kept trying to give more, and then
then you realize, like, the giving's not the problem, it's the person doesn't want to give back.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't reciprocate that.
Yes. So the one thing I hope that doesn't happen to you is that you go cold, because everyone says that you go through a breakup. That's what I'm trying to
work hardest on right now too. That's why I'm like, I'm not ready for a relationship. I mean, granted, if the right person came along, they matched everything, I'd be willing to, like, take on the growing journey, because the right person, I'm going to be able to work on myself and work on a relationship at the same time, you know? So I don't know. I guess I'd be accepting towards dating in LA